Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Turtly Wild. We're wild about turtles and pretty much all animals really. Today we have a very special, well I guess it's special, I think it's special. I'm very excited to bring you this episode. We got a new species of turtle here at our Dalton State College Turtle Assurance Colony. You'll hear me say TAC, Turtle Assurance Colony, TAC, that's what we call it for short. It's a new species that I fell in love with while I was in China for multiple reasons. I mean, I fell in love with pretty much every species that I saw over there. But this species I just really liked. It's a really pretty species, and it's just unique because it's never been found by a scientist in the wild. And that makes it pretty interesting. Unfortunately, that also means that they're extremely rare, they're functionally extinct for sure, and probably completely extinct in the wild. So we only have them in captivity. So without further ado, we already saw the name of this video, so you know what species it is, Cuora McCordi. Alright, so here it is, Cuora McCordi, one of my favorite species. It's just, to me, a very enigmatic species. Background, and then we'll go on a little bit of just basic husbandry. So this species is endemic to China. That means it's only found in China. All right, not only just in China, but it's only found in a southern province called Guangxi province. Not just only in the southern province, but in the eastern portion of this Guangxi province. So it's never been found, like I said, by scientists in the wild. Native Chinese scientist or some foreign scientist, it doesn't matter. No scientist has ever found it in the wild. You'll read online where they were found in the wild by a team of scientists back in like 2005, but that was from a paper where a group of scientists went to Guangxi specifically looking for this species. They had some information that this species was native to that area. They went, they found some traders, and then the traders took them to where they bought them from villagers before and found villagers that could differentiate between Cuora McCordi and Cuora trifasciata, which is also native to that area. And then they found just a few areas where these villagers had collected them, but they did not find them. They looked for them, but they did not find any in the wild. Pretty much it said these haven't been pulled out of the wild in probably 10 years, so they're most likely extinct in the wild. There might be one or two running around, but not enough for a population. So they went, and although they didn't find any in the wild, they never found a wild animal. The important thing was they found where they came from, right? Because part of keeping animals in captivity, our assurance colony, is that hopefully one day offspring from these animals can go back into the wild. Whether that ever happens, I don't know, but they are breeding these in China, so there's populations in China. I've heard estimates from a couple hundred up to 1,000 hatchlings of McCordi a year coming out of China or being produced in China. So it's possible that one day maybe those animals could be released back into the native habitat, since at least now we know where it is. Of course, you have to protect it, you got to get community involvement. It's a long process, but there's hope, right? At least we know where they come from, and potentially one day they could be back in the wild. Potentially one day they could be back in the wild. Now, with this species, a lot of people see them as Cuora. They look a lot like trifasciata and maybe a blend of flavor marginata, so that's why a lot of people first thought this was a hybrid species. Right? It came out in very few numbers. There just weren't a lot of them being found in the pet trade back when they first started coming out in the 90s, 2000s, stuff like that. So a lot of people, and at that time, there are other species that people thought were, oh, it's a new species, but it was just a hybrid animal. It was a farmed animal that was a hybrid. You got Mormons mutica, trifasciata hybrids, you got Cicalia trifasciata, all sorts of hybrids, and they thought they were species. Found out genetically they weren't. So that's good, because you don't want to waste time trying to protect a species that's not real. And so they started being suspect for Cuora McCordi because, well, if you look at it, it looks kind of like a trifasciata and a flavor marginata hybrid. And I've seen one, and it does look a lot like this. So they started to get suspect. We don't see a lot of numbers. We never found it in the wild. Maybe it is a hybrid. But through genetic analysis, they found out no, it's its own species, sister species to Trifasciata, but it is a valid species. These are going to be more like Flavor marginata, which are more terrestrial. We'll go into the streams, but more terrestrial. So in your enclosure, I'll show you what we have here. As you can see, we do have mostly land. Right, we'll put this guy back. Came from out here. So we have mostly land. Probably 80% of it is land. And then we have just a water tub that they can get in, completely submerged, kind of swim around if they want to, but then you have easy access out. And these mats right here are great. It gives them a good place to grip and get out of, but also get into. When you have these slick-sided tubs like this, these things work great for getting in and out of. But you can see we have mostly land for these turtles. And I've got some vegetation here so they can hide, and they really like to dig. Most of the time you come out, they're down in that ground, which goes along with what the villager said, where they find them hiding underneath leaves and debris most of the time, and the rains will bring them out. And if you water them heavy enough, they will come out. You can see that female back over there, she's coming out. But this is all for today. Just trying to show you our setup, and I'm going to get more bamboo. I got some variegated dwarf bamboo, but they were out of the store. I'm going to get more and plant it in here, get it a little bit thicker, so it's more of a naturalistic environment for them. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode.